Welcome to a new edition of Fantasy Time, a panel discussion show about your favorite topic, fantasy sports. I'm your host, John Bates, and here we will see two panelists battle it out to show who can come out on top. Joining us today are Austin Schindler and Leif Ender. Now, with the NBA season being well underway and almost coming to a closure, the fantasy playoffs are right around the corner. So, guys, who is the top player you want on your fantasy team for the playoffs? Schindler, we'll start with you.
All right, well, this is what I was at. I had DeMarcus Cousins on my fantasy team, and I honestly got to say he could have been the number one player in the league because this guy was putting up 45 and 25, and also since, Drew Holiday, is that who they got passing the ball? He's also getting those assists too. So, but now that he's hurt, I honestly just have to go with the triple-double king, Russell Westbrook, obviously. The dude's averaging flipping 29, 10, and 9.6 per game, almost a triple-double already. So, can you really go wrong with that guy? He may not be having his best three-point shooting year, but you get those extra couple points for threes. Well, I'll take the extra couple for a triple-double any day.
Yep. All right, now Leif.
I'm going to be cooking it up. James Harden, feared the beard. This is the guy I'm going to have. This guy's having a breakout year, and he could argue an MVP year. This guy is lighting it up from downtown. His moves are silky. As you saw a couple nights ago or last night, he broke that guy's ankles from the Clippers.
Wesley Johnson.
He probably could have waited for another 3 hours before he had the shot lift off, but he's on a game that is just twice his elevation. I haven't seen this type of James Harden ever in his type of career. So if there's a guy that you need in your playoffs, this is a guy I think who you need. And obviously, I could see him taking out Golden State Warriors coming into the playoffs. That's how dangerous he has been.
You could say he's dangerous in that aspect, but when it comes to fantasy sports and fantasy basketball, is there anyone that just racks up points, assists, and rebounds more than Russell Westbrook? Even with not KD, Snake, Paul George and Melo on the team, and he's still averaging this. And we were astonished last year on this average triple-double. He's 0.4 away from averaging another one. So I don't really see anyone else to take. I'm surprised you didn't say Giannis.
Yeah. The homer pick.
I would love to, but I know in the playoff standpoint, when it comes to crunch time, Harden has more of the numbers that are coming in later.
Yeah.
Later, I will say Giannis though, but he still has to prove it for me, honestly, from a Bucks fan.
Harden does have the better field goal percentage, but I think Russell Westbrook gets you those stats that you want. So Schindler, you're going to get the point here. I think Anthony Davis would be a better pickup than both of them, though. Anyways, sticking in the NBA, but looking more specifically at the Minnesota Timberwolves. Guard Jimmy Butler was injured after the All-Star break when playing against Houston. If you had Jimmy Butler on your NBA fantasy team, what player would you be looking for to replace him to fill in that roster spot? Leif, we'll start with you.
Well, if you're looking specifically, I guess, for Minnesota, one of them could be Tyus Jones stepping up big for that, or you could go look at maybe Jeff Teague a little bit. He's been goes big offensively, scoring-wise. He's been stepping up. Tyus Jones has been huge from his first year to his second year. He's matured very well. I know recently, because a lot of teams have him already, those two guys on the team would be Corey Brewer, who just recently signed with the Thunder. It could be kind of a dark horse pick for that because many people just found out that he just signed with Thunder. So he could be a guy that could be potentially looking for a landing spot and could be a guy that could get him good minutes on the points, get some boards, points. So that could be a guy that could honestly fit in, especially for Jimmy Butler, who could later, I'm assuming, will come back for the playoffs. So he could be a guy, I'm going to go with Corey Brewer, for a guy that could fill in and give you some good minutes and points that you kind of need. Won't be outstanding like obviously James Harden, Russell Westbrook, though, but I think you can do enough that you buy going through the week.
All right, Schindler.
Well, I got to say, Jimmy Butler's a guard. He's averaging 22 a game. But I got to roll with Jeff Teague on this one. He may not be the type of caliber player Jimmy Butler is, but he's been scoring out of his mind offensively. And I think with Jimmy Butler gone, he can find his offensive feel because he didn't really know how to play the game when you had three other superstars on the team. It's hard to find that flow when you're the fourth option there, and you haven't been the fourth option your whole career. So these last 4 games, he's gotten 20, 18, 25, and 20, and 24 assists over that span too. This guy is no joke. When it comes all together for this Timberwolves team, and he's going to be need to playing his best for them to stay in that 4 spot, and I think he's definitely capable of doing that, especially when they're putting more of their focus on Karl Anthony Towns and Andrew Wiggins, having that third guy who's been consistently hitting threes his whole career. You got to take a guy like that.
So I'm going to have to stop you right there. I'm going to give the point to Leif. You both seem to agree on Teague, and Leif just brought out a couple more players, too, to throw out in the mix. I like Corey Brewer. That's a solid choice. All right.
Where'd he sign again?
Switching things up, the Thunder. For the baseball fans, spring training is underway. With the start of baseball season building up, it also means the start up for fantasy baseball. Now, with a lot of positions that need to be filled, who is the main guy that would be the top pick for your fantasy team for both offense and defense in the first round for your fantasy team? Schindler, we'll start with you.
No, he's been slept on for years, grossly slept on. I mean, a guy of this kind of caliber should not be slept on like this, but it's Paul Goldschmidt. He's batting .297 the last couple seasons, and I think we can all agree for the last 4 seasons, he's been in this MVP conversation. Well, I think he's hitting his peak prime right now. He hits for power, everything. His nickname is America's first baseman. I mean, his fielding is also slept on. And what they really don't talk about is his base stealing. I mean, 15 last year, pretty good, but 32 the year before. You know who only had 5 more stolen bases in that 2-year span? Mike Trout. And, I mean, we know this. Mike Trout is one of the fastest guys and best baseball players in the league. So, I mean, this guy, Paul Goldschmidt's been grossly underrated for years. And I honestly think that this year could be the year he could win the MVP in the NL.
All right, Leif.
I'm going to go with a guy who's been offensive threat. I mean, he led the home runs last year. He's going to be pretty much Giancarlo Stanton. I love that acquisition that the Yankees got from him and playing in the batter-friendly ballpark. This guy is going to be
ballpark.
Well, whatever it is, but he's still going to bring in the runs and the home runs, which you want from an offensive standpoint, from the best of the best. You got to go with Giancarlo Stanton. I mean, this guy memorizes with it. With the way he bats, I mean, you can't even pitch around him. That's how dangerous he is. And obviously, if you want the offensive power, you got to go Giancarlo Stanton. This guy has been putting the impressive numbers from his rookie year coming into this league, and it's just been outstanding. I would definitely be jumping on Giancarlo Stanton, especially in New York. The home run total.
But can he stay healthy is the real question. Can this guy stay healthy? Is he worth your first pick if you don't even know if the guy can stay on the field?
He's going to play with the organization that will now have a better chance other than Miami Marlins. Like, you're going to be with Judge, too, and all that other
That doesn't
prospects.
make him less hurt, though. I mean, you still need a guy to play for your team. And I mean, Giancarlo Stanton's been injured for a couple of years now, but he did have a really good last year. I expect a lot more home runs this year.
He's going to be exploding.
All right, guys, let's cut you off there. Love the debate going on. I'm going to give the point to Schindler. I think Paul Goldschmidt is just a better all-around player than Giancarlo Stanton. He's got the bat, but I think Goldschmidt provides a little bit more along with the bat. So fantastic performances from both of our competitors tonight. Alas, there can only be one winner tonight, and it was Austin Schindler. Great job, Austin, yet again.
I keep killing this show.
Yeah, you do, man. You always win Fantasy Time. So that'll do it for this edition of Fantasy Time. We hope to see you guys again next week online whenever you want to watch us.